Hello there. Kakatarn here.
And the Bendu.
Today we are joined for this most hallowed podcast, the 90th episode of Dork Forces, by our good friend Crystal Kyber. How you doing, Crystal?
Hi, hello there. I'm doing well. Got my little buddy here,
Yes, thank you everyone for joining us also on a random Tuesday evening. I mean, last night was
a little bit different.
Was the opening first two episodes of the Skeleton Crew. So there's a lot for us to initially talk about and kind of recap on what we've all witnessed last night. But yeah, no, Crystal Kyber, one of the OG subscribers and fans of the channel back when
it's great to see you again.
It's YouTube state. But I do want to immediately address something in the comments though, because I see someone saying that like, oh, it's wild that Captain EO is canon now. And so I think my initial question is, yeah, we saw the fuzzballs, and like, if there's what exactly brings something into a world of canon. So like, if it shows
referenced directly
a little creature, yeah. So like, so in your all opinion, does seeing a fuzzball count as like making the entirety of the Captain EO story canon?
Not in that way. I don't think that the entirety of the Captain EO story is canon just because we see a fuzzball. But seeing a fuzzball and have it being officially referred to as fuzzball canonizes fuzzball. You know what I mean? Like when Thrawn was brought into Star Wars Rebels, that canonized Thrawn, but it did not canonize Joruus C'baoth or Luke's clone or any of the other things from his book trilogy. They just took this one element and made that canon. So in order for the rest of it to be canon, there would need to be like exposition, explicitly talking about what went down, or we see the rest of it. So as of right now, fuzzball's canon. And I think there's a little bit of like a joke going on to make Hooter canon through Neil's species, maybe. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Hooter had an STD or something. But
and the really decrepit teak looking creature being an obvious shout out to Battle of Endor.
Right.
I was rewatching
canonization. That's a straight canonization.
Right. And I was rewatching parts of Battle of Endor, and like the teak, or at least like the teak that we see in there again, like was a person in a costume versus what we saw in Skeleton Crew, which was a much smaller, like to scale puppet.
Totally.
So now I'm kind of curious, like what the true size to that species or that race is, because like the teak we did see was like the size of a Jawa or like a small humanoid child, versus this thing, which was very decrepit and like Dobby looking.
Is it like a species thing? Is it like one was full grown and one was small? Like what's the true height of a human? You know, I mean, like we have a pretty good range. You know, there's like 7 foot tall humans and like 4 foot tall humans walking around.
Very true. It's a very good point.
But I would say it's like a subspecies thing, or maybe Teak, as we know him from Battle of Endor, was like massive because he was like living on Endor and like eating all the stormtroopers. I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know where that train of thought's even going. I don't think that's how it works necessarily. My child's understanding of like biology here.
Hey, I mean,
you get bigger. What do you want?
Like Kryptonians didn't have powers, and it was only until a Kryptonian was put on Earth that like the radiation was like, oh, our bodies respond this way. So I mean your theory is completely viable.
When I was a little kid, I thought that all creatures were like koi fish, where they will expand infinitely if they're given enough space, and that's why like there's like huge elephants and like just like they're just given the room to get that big. Anything could get that big. Maybe that is the case with certain species, though, in Star Wars.
The bottom of the ocean, yeah, absolutely.
God, that basically is outer space, dude. There's straight up monsters out there at the bottom of the ocean.
Aliens, apparently.
I would believe it. I would fully believe it. I don't know why we're spending so much resources trying to explore space when we haven't explored all of the ocean yet. Wow, we're like, let's see, 5 minutes in and we're already fully off topic. We haven't even got the crew yet.
It's gonna be one
of those. It's what happens when you have like get-togethers that haven't been there for a while. But yeah, so with Skeleton Crew, how Crystal, I'm gonna give you the reins. How would you like to start? What
All
was
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually really liked it. What I really liked, or the thing that I really, really appreciate about this show is like the kids' dynamic feels so real to me. Like I'm watching them interact with each other, and I'm just like, that is so little kid of them. Like when they're calling claimsies, and you can't call unclaimsies. The claimsy was there first, and then they do it, and then Neil is like, well, they called claimsies, so it checks out.
Yeah, that checks out. Oh man.
Yeah, they feel very lived in. The world itself is very lived in. It feels like we are really diving into like the middle of a book. It is like
totally
a part of Star Wars that we haven't explored yet, but it still feels like Star Wars. So I'm very excited about this show.
That's really clever world building, and there's a very careful effort being put into building the world and making it seem like it's been there for so long. And this is not just the beginning of a story, exactly like you. And about that, like there's clearly something going on with this planet at Aten. I noticed it as soon as we got that first shot of the sky, and you can see little red dots. There's like a grid of like little red lights across the sky. That was our first little hint about this barrier.
I didn't even notice that.
At first, I thought they were stars, and I was like,
pretty.
"Oh, the stars are red. That's weird." And then I was like, "Wait, they're perfectly spaced with each other. What's going on here?"
Yeah.
There's rules on this planet, like the grand work or the great work that she came to talk to the class about. Like,
oh, Scott Reyes, I'm warning you now. This is going to be a very spoilers-heavy podcast this evening. So if you're okay about the journey and not necessarily the destination, as am I. I have no problem with spoilers. Spoilers don't really exist to me because I still enjoy seeing how something plays out, regardless of like.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I think that's totally a valid way to do it. But for everyone who is worried about spoilers, you've been warned. You have been so warned.
Yes.
My friend Jason had a big theory about the planet and the mysteriousness and why no one's heard of it. And we'll dive into that in a little bit. I have to pull it up in my comments. But as for the first episode, like one of my favorite openings, I think, of a Star Wars series, like the way we had like the static text, it wasn't quite a crawl, but like I loved the Solo one, like it is a lawless period, all that. And then we got that same energy here again with like the space. I can't remember it word for word what it was, but like talking about how like the pirates would like emblazon their armored hulls, like to signal like that the doom is coming for everybody. Like it was so old-timey pirate script. And then also that first shot, just like the way we lingered in space and then the debris slowly floating, and then we see like the attack happening. That was great. It was a great way to grab your attention.
That was
in from the beginning.
It was exactly what I needed. Actually starting the whole show and starting the episode with an actual like siege was immediately what I needed to see, and like wanted to know how they were going to go about it or play it out, because like something we had talked about in the beginning of our reaction and view of episode 1 was that like comparatively like to Firefly, we didn't really get to see a lot of space battles. Like we did get to see a lot of like piratey cowboy shoot 'em up stuff and like a lot of heists. Obviously we got to see a lot of different
but it was always boots on the ground, like on a space station.
It was always boots on the ground. Yeah, it wasn't the fact that we got to see first the tunneling torpedoes that
the tubes, man. Brutal way to do it, because you're just leaving holes in the ship too. Like,
and then obviously, and then the turrets, right? And then obviously, the ship that you're trying to pirate has some sort of defensive system. So you have the people, you have
the craziest people on the crew,
like, put on the spacesuits to jump out.
Gotta be so sick. Right.
What a job! What a job!
I would love to think that I would have the stones to do that job, because that seems like so cool. But there's no way, man. That's terrifying. Those guys are absolutely crazy doing that. But it looks so cool.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that before in Star Wars. I was like so surprised seeing that. I'm like, this is literally space pirates.
Yeah, like literally. We'd seen the tube things kind of before, because it was very similar to the Clone Wars with like those squid-shaped landing craft like attacked Camino. They kind of drilled through and then had made openings. But like them coming off of a ship like that, I think that was the first time too.
So cool.
Also, I love the paint job on the giant pirate.
Right.
They're like those
Ahsoka.
stripes. It's very Chris Foss.
Yeah.
Between Ahsoka and the Acolyte, I think those were the only two recent live actions that we got to see like a spacewalk. So the fact that more recent like Disney Star Wars is showing us more like out of space like interaction is really cool, because like Filoni showed it to us in like multiple episodes, and then Tartarovsky showed it to us like 1 or 2 different episodes with like the underwater battle episode and the episode with Cesis 10 and all the clones like doing the
micro series is so good.
Doing the orbital drop and the spatial battle. Like, so we don't get to always see it, but the times we do get to see it, it's so fucking cool. It's so good.
That cartwheel that Ahsoka does in that one episode of the live action series, it just like slices the cockpit of the ship that's like racing under her at like 1,000 miles an hour.
Glorious.
So good. So good. It really felt like live action Rebels in that moment. But yeah, no, I completely agree. And I love that we always go with like the retro 1950s style, like bubble helmets. It's so impractical. It so does not match the rest of the technology of the time period, but I love it. There's something about that that's just so timeless.
3D view though. Like that's kind of like
can't really beat that. Yeah,
right?
No amount of sensors are better than your eyes, I guess, in that way.
Yeah, like Ridley Scott, that's the only real downside to a lot of his astronauts and like humans in his story is like all of their helmets are very like closed in. Like,
well, there's a reason for that though, because especially in Alien, like one of the main themes that he tries to convey is that space travel is uncomfortable and there's nothing leisurely about it, and like there's supposed to be like this claustrophobia to like wearing the suit itself. It's supposed to like ratchet up the anxiety of the audience member.
So when you have a fully,
I've thought a lot about Alien and why their suits are so ridiculous, and that's totally.
When you got the Buzz Lightyear helmet, it's a little bit easier because you can see everything.
Buzz Lightyear. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, now you can't unsee it. But still,
right.
No, it's done. It's done. Now I need that crossover series. Buzz Lightyear versus Star Command versus the Xenomorphs. Coming.
Yeah, dude. Star Troopers
Could happen. Could happen now. I know.
So, right out the gate, the pirates attack. It's an awesome sequence, and for me, immediately the A New Hope parallel is there.
Yes,
right? We've got everyone like gathering in the hallway, waiting for the doors to blow, and then they come marching through. And then Brutus even has, I guess it's the captain still at that point, who's totally not Jude Law, by the way.
Right.
Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's so funny. It didn't even try to hide it, but like he hit it enough for like little kids in the audience to be shocked. So like that's perfect for this genre, I think. But the way he holds him up and he's like, if this is a bulk freighter, then why is the cargo hold magnetically sealed? Yeah, it was very like, if this is a consular ship, then where's the ambassador? No, that was really fun getting to see them pay tribute to the original Star Wars and then take it in this fresh, bold direction instead, showing that there's respect there and that like the inspiration and the roots are definitely there. And now we're just going to do something new with it. The pirates were fantastic though. Like all of their unique individual designs. I thought that they all sort of stood because sometimes when you have like an ensemble group, if you single one out, you're like, the design, there's nothing really special about it. But when they're standing in the group, it's effective. That's not the case with these pirates. Like every single one of them like had their own like iconic look.
They look so good. And
I'd be really happy with every action figure. You know what I mean?
Dude, already with the continuity between episode 1 and 2, like the fact that we got to open up with that one alien getting its eyeball shot.
I
and
know.
Episode 2
the poor Ishi Tib.
Bro,
what an absolute
Tortuga
badass he was, though.
Space Tortuga, he's getting an implant.
Right.
Can you imagine, dude? Can you imagine you're like boarding someone and you're trying to like rob them of all their stuff and you got a gun. You get shot in the eye walking through the door and he's just kind of like, ugh. All right, anyway, let's do this thing.
They're like big targets.
His eye is like smoldering. It's like burning still.
Yeah.
It's not like a bullet. Blasters like they burn from the inside. So like his eye is like cooking and he's still going.
That's when I knew that this show is gonna be good. Like
Yeah.
right away, someone gets shot in the eye. Are you kidding me? Like, all right, let's do this. That's why I felt watching that.
I think honestly, like the moment that I knew this show was going to be good was microseconds before that. The shot of like when the tubes have connected and you see the pirates running through the tubes. Suddenly there's a close up of them all running down like from the front, and they're all aliens. They all have big flopping around rubber heads, and they're all being like, hop, 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 hop. That was the moment that I was like, all right, this is the right kind of Star Wars. This is going to be goofy as hell. I love it.
Absolutely.
And then Brutus shows up and just drops like 4 people without even looking. No, I saw the whole betrayal thing happening pretty quickly because like
mutiny.
The mutiny, like I knew something like that was going to happen, but they contrived a good scenario to create like the power dynamic, and it felt very piratey, and it let the audience know very quickly, the lay of the land here. Thought it was well done. The Brutus's costume though, those prosthetics, like we were talking about it in the reaction last night. Bendu was saying he's just getting lost in those red eyes.
Yeah,
the red eyes and like the mechanical jaw movements, man.
Yeah,
like, the way that they were able to get his mouth and just like the overall mask to move was just so like American Werewolf in London or like the Underworld werewolves. Like they were just so mechanically well put together. Like it was just very surprising because like the last time we got to see one of the wolves in A New Hope, it was just like literally just werewolf mask in a cantina. So it's like they knew that they couldn't do that this time. So they really had to like step things up. But even like simple costume pieces, like even Jude Law.
I was wondering that too. Very possible.
His mask helmet was still like so shiny and so shimmery.
The mask helmet was cool. I like how it almost had like a tricorn pirate hat shape to the top of it,
and
too.
It had like triangle. A dip in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like a hat.
Like there's just so many pieces where it's like, dude, this aesthetically is just so fucking cool. But SM-33 for me, I think was
all puppetry. By the way, that was all physical puppetry.
All puppetry. Wow. The fact again, like something
way he came walking down the hallway, all crazy like.
The fact also that someone literally physically had to take the time and effort to like put in the program of like talk with hard
I know.
like that's part of his like his chips. That's part of his program.
I like to think he came normal and the programmer went in and deleted a bunch of words.
Right.
Yeah.
and just left the pirates.
You're like with Slurch. And he was like, what is Slurch? You're like, you know what it is.
Like, you know what it is.
Like any droid who you ask them their name and they're like, there are some who call me. Like,
you're like, what?
Dogs like that? I love it.
Right.
Yeah, no, great.
I'm pretty sure he's rhymed at least once too.
Really?
Like he's full on dead men tell no tales. Like he just is the skull from the beginning of the Caribbean, which was like directly referenced too. I think that was episode 2 when they're in the brig.
Oh yeah,
and
like, get the mouse to open the door.
Is it a mouse? We've been calling it Ratatouille. We've been calling
Ratatouille.
The fact that it lives in his head
and
crawls in and out of his eyeball.
Right.
Like that is the most raddest of the most Tatooey.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? That is
right.
I think it's going to be a twist that the rat is actually Smee.
Right. I was going
to
to say
Grogu pilot situation.
Right. I like that that Ratatouille kind of is like like when he dies, like the rat also passes out, like I like that he's also like the personification
when they
it's kind of like Avatar when they like connect the hair things and become one being,
and then the rat dramatically like falls and spins
just paralyzed, like no, he's stunned, better catch him and cradle him. Like, exactly that.
So good.
Me too.
It's so good.
Someone worry about me.
Exactly.
Me also.
It's so refreshing. It's so refreshing when Star Wars isn't human centric.
Yes. The ratio of creatures and aliens to humans is perfect.
I understand why we have this trend to have like a mostly human cast, because it's the easiest for us to connect with a human face, in terms of telegraphing a performance. But I really think that we it finally gotten to a place where we can have a completely non-human cast, like all aliens, and there's not a single recognizable human face in the like. I think we can handle that. Like maybe only the hardcore Star Wars fans would really appreciate it. But
I mean, like, look at Mando. It's the main character is in a helmet and then an alien. Like,
That's true.
yeah, it's true. That's true.
so, and
The
I feel
mask
like
and
we
a
relate to them pretty well. We know exactly what they're thinking and feeling. So
It's
I think
true.
we're ready. Give us a show of the Neils.
Right? His family was so like adorable.
So
And it made me feel bad for Wim, first of all, because like clearly like they're setting up this contrast between their home lives, like the way Neil comes home and like his little siblings are so excited to see him. They're like, it's Neil, and like he gets a hug from his dad, and then Wim has to go home to like this big empty house.
Yeah.
But like I would watch a show about Neil's family. They're too cute. Watching their little holiday special holograms.
Right.
The way Neil had to take like a post-stress bubble bath after his exam.
Right.
It would be like Seventh Heaven. It would be like Star Wars Seventh Heaven, or like, yeah, a Full House. Star Wars Full House is what Neil's house is what it would be.
Well, I mean, like I'm sure that exists because, like, if you're gonna take the Star Wars suburbs thing and have a planet, you've got to take it all the way. I'm sure there are like hollow sitcoms that the family watch at 7 p.m. every Wednesday night. You know?
Yeah, with the saxophone in the intro.
Exactly. Or a Valicord, I guess, or a clue horn.
Yeah, or a jizz band playing.
I'm imagining like a smooth jazz version of bup, 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 it's all sax.
Right.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Full House theme song, but yeah, that works too.
So that pirate port in episode 2 was actually not new. It's both been in Legends and Canon for a long time. It was first in Kevin J. Anderson's Shadow Academy Legends novels. That's the first time that we see it as a location. And then back in 2018, the Star Wars Smuggler's Guide came out alongside Solo, and that mentioned it as a location there. So it's been in canon since 2018, but this is the first time we've ever gotten an on-screen look at it. And my God, it was so cool. It was so colorful and vibrant, and like, God, if you want aliens, like, forget about it. They were everywhere. It was hard to find a human in the crowd, honestly. And there were some cool ones too. Like I liked getting to see another Thelan. What did you guys think about the Thelan gal?
I liked her. I feel like her horns looked a little bit different, but maybe it's just she's like a different type, you know? It just was very prominent, but I liked her, and I liked that she was like, I don't know, a sex worker. But she was like, you know, the red light district.
That was the implication, right?
Right,
Like
the red lights. But I like that she was the one that was like helping the kids. And I'm like, of course she would. It just made so much sense to me. But I liked her. I liked her shoes too. She had like the big shoes that are the toes, you know, like they did in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was like looking for that.
She definitely did have like the Jabba's dancer aesthetic going on.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I shouted out a rather crass version of it in the moment because we were in the reaction and my brain had to like quickly think of the answer. But the species is Eskagian. The Eskagian woman on the other side of the door was also one of the dancers from Jabba's palace. The one with the couple extra pairs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She was standing on the other side of the door, and I had to do a double or a triple take, I guess, in this case. But
that's so funny.
There was an Eskagian lady. I'm sure it's not the same character, but yeah, another appearance, and I can't think of another on-screen appearance of them. So.
Yes, the implication of sex workers being helpful, being a girl's girl, like
that's true.
Yeah, right. It was a very positive
portrayal. Like that's the hope, right? I mean, when you're on an island full of pirates, like it really could go either way.
So I guess my question is she actually just who she appeared to be, or is she there like undercover? Is she doing something? Is she like a spy? Because she immediately like dropped what she was doing to go check on these kids and see what they were up to. And we know, at least this is some trailer spoiler right here. But we've seen X-Wings flying over this location.
Oh,
so I'm
wait, in this episode? Did I miss that?
No,
not in this episode. No.
Okay.
In the trailer, there's a shot in that same location with X-Wings flying overhead. I think Brutus is looking up at them. One of the pirates, maybe it's Vane, but someone's looking up at X-Wings from Port Borgo. And I'm wondering if maybe she calls the New Republic because she's like a plant or something. This is just my thought. I don't think that would diminish her being a positively portrayed sex worker if she's also like a spy. That's just like her cover, you know. Maybe Disney wouldn't go that far and be like, oh, well, actually, she's not really that. She's something.
Right.
That's why she's a good person, because she's secret. New Republic cop. Just,
I'm so dead.
Get some propaganda in there instead.
Right.
But just go completely the other direction.
Right.
But you're right. You know, I didn't even notice that the horns were done differently. But like looking at other, because I've got Thielen pictures up here, it totally is. They totally did it a different way. And on the one hand, I guess that's kind of like breaking from continuity. But the Star Wars kind of has that get out of jail free card where, like, because it's a species of people, you can always just be introducing another variation. And who's to say that they all have to be the same way? You know. I
mean, look at how many different.
A sexy spy. Would they be so bold to do a sexy spy?
The Iridonian, or not the Iridonians, but all the Zabrix that we got to see on Dathomir, like how many like different skin tones between even like Maul and Savage. Like there's I feel like there's enough variation between.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, there's like 6 rows on that palette. Are you kidding me? They're like very, very different from each other.
But like the Twi'leks themselves, I think has some of the most variation I think we've seen out of a majority of like Star Wars species. Because like Bib Fortuna looks absolutely hideous and heinous compared to Mama. I forget what the lady.
Dude, I'm just gonna have to say this in defense of poor Bib Fortuna. He's not that bad. He's like a Ryloth 7. All right. Have you seen his cousin Beezer Fortuna, who appears in Rogue One? He's one of Saw Gerrera's partisans.
Oh,
look up a picture of Beezer Fortuna and then tell me that Bib is the ugly one in the family. Okay.
He's very greasy.
He's like he's like a Ryloth 7. Okay, Coruscant 4, maybe, whatever.
I don't know, man. Yeah, the lady.
Oh, well, I can see from your face that you just saw Beezer.
The lady in Book of Boba Fett who had the nightclub who got blown up. Like, she was absolutely gorgeous.
Madame Garza. Yeah, that's Beezer. That's Beezer right there. Dude.
Right.
So, I mean, the spectrum, right? I think was the story I was.
But there were sexy Twi'lek boys in Garza's establishment as well, and like very chiseled, like abs. Like they didn't all look like Bib Fortuna. So, like again, there's a lot of variation there.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at it. It's just something that I noticed. I was like, huh, that's different.
Not the Sour Patch Kid. Oh no, it's true though. It's absolutely true. Damn.
I see so many of my friends in the chat. This is so fun.
Sweating his leg too off in the desert. I mean, so that's just an excuse.
Come on, man. It's like 165 degrees out there. You know they don't have air conditioning in Jabba's palace.
Right.
It's made of like sandstone. Well, how hot is Ryloth? Are Twi'leks cool with the heat? Isn't Ryloth seems like it's really hot? That's just me, like from the colors of the planet, you know. Oranges and yellows and reds make me think heat, but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, what's it? Dathomir is supposed to be, or Jeddah is supposed to be cold, actually, and it kind of has. Visually looking at it, I always think it's supposed to be hot. I think
I feel like Dathomir is probably like extremes, like it just goes up and down constantly, like the coldest of colds at night, but then like the most hots or humids during the day, depending on which part of the planet you're on.
One other detail that I had that I loved about Neil and his little family, just before we move on from that, is when Wim goes out to the garage to like try and convince Neil to come with him to check out the thing. And he's got like the St. Pauli girl, like Oktoberfest, like it's like a tin print too, like on the garage wall.
Did you take a screenshot? I feel like
I need to go back and get a screen grab of it because it's too perfect. It's got like a bunch of mugs of like, I thought it was blue milk, but actually I think it's gray milk because like he was drinking gray milk with the cereal. Like, it was definitely a grayish color.
Yeah.
I don't know if I.
Yeah.
It's like your water after you finish cleaning your paintbrushes. Like, that's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, it's not good.
That's true. I know exactly what color that is. Yep.
But like the St. Pauli girl was such a good reference because like it tells a whole story too, that like this about the whole society. So like that was the dad's.
There's
it was on the wall in the living room, like back in college or whatever. But now he's married and like his wife has made him hang it up in the garage because that's the only place she'll allow it to be in his house.
Yeah.
It's like a whole like just from the presence of it in that space, like you can learn so much about them. Yeah, it's like you were saying, the world building, like showing that this is not the start of a story. Like we're very much in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Like, I feel like the show did a really good job at showing us and not telling us just based off what was around them and how they interacted with other characters and how characters interacted with them. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of exposition, but we knew that Neil and Wim are best friends. But we didn't need to hear them say, oh, we've been neighbors since we were 2 years old and we grew up together. They just have this dynamic of like, yeah, they grew up together. We get it, you know? And I really, really appreciated that about this show.
It was almost painfully relatable for me and Bendu at points. Like I was like, oh, that's us. We've literally done that. We've literally done that too.
Like last week.
Yeah, like not embarrassingly recently too. Not even as kids.
Right. It's all good shit. It's all good shit. But something that I did notice that like even Star Wars Twitter, like a lot of the kids, like no one's talking about our girl KB. Like I love
KB was cool.
Our little cyborg girl. Like I have so many questions of like about her and like her backstory. Cause like obviously like right off the bat I knew Fern was a little twat. And just like, bro, you for whatever reason have straight A's, but like you're the popular one, but you hate being the popular one. So you're gonna do a bunch of shit and act out.
That's always how it is. The highly achieving kids are unchallenged and therefore they're bored.
Yeah, and like you're gonna pick on. You're just gonna be an absolute bully and a piece of shit and just like project. You're gonna project on all the other kids for like poor why. But like for whatever reason, the little cyborg kid was like, "I'm gonna call you out. I see when you're lying. Therefore, like we should be friends." But like I want to know. I have questions.
Yeah, KB LaForge.
Yeah.
See,
I wish that we got more of her.
Sorry, go for it.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I wish that we got more of her. She was the only one that we didn't get like any backstory on.
We don't know her home life or anything or her family.
Yeah.
I want to know if either of her parents are enhanced, you know?
Or does she just live in Fern's closet? Like, I need to know.
Right.
Also, what's the ethical ramifications of installing like a Lobot enhancement on a brain of a young forming mind, you know? It's one thing when an adult has that procedure, but like at what age was she given
this? That is indeed what it is. Like we don't even like
no, that's what it is. That like what that does, what they do, at least what Lobots does, and I'm assuming it's a similar technology, however maybe parallel or different, is that it actually replaces part of your brain with droid computer like processing power.
Yeah, because she was able to connect her like eye gear to the spaceship door to unlock it.
But like it's a one-way ticket. Like your brain can no longer function without it once you get it installed.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, did she choose? Like, was this a life-saving thing when she was a baby? Like, was this electively done? Like, I have questions about that, you know. And knowing about her parents, if her parents also have them, that would make more sense, you know. But I do love just Neil's family dynamic and like you were saying with the whole show don't tell, like they were able to show us that they're best friends and show us the differences in their dynamics and like why Wim is so desperate for an adventure and why Neil is so desperate to go back home is because home has everything. He has all these creature comforts. He has a loving family. Wim really just has like a somewhat frantic absent dad who means well but is clearly overworked.
Yeah.
And I feel like
he
also,
works so hard and loves his kid and never stops.
Does he know? Does he know?
He's got gentle hands and the heart of a fighter.
Exactly.
Does he know? That dad is very much like, look, here's the list of expectations I have of you. Here's your lunch money for a week. I expect you to study and do all of your shit because I'm paying all of your bills, and I don't give a shit about you doing things because like all of your interests.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I felt bad for him. I was like, not the emotionally absent parent.
Yeah, dude, well, his dad was gone. Like,
it's clear that his dad has not worked through whatever happened to the mom yet.
Yeah,
and he's burying himself in work so that he won't have to process it. You know, he's trying not to have any idle moments, but he's sacrificing his relationship with his son to do it. And it's such a classic 80s movie trope and 80s movie arc that like the kids go on this wild adventure, and meanwhile the parent who didn't appreciate the kid in the beginning comes to like appreciate them more in their absence, and then it ends with them like think about the Goonies scene on the beach, you know, when the parents are like, I'll give you whatever you want, like, you know, I'm just so happy that you're back. And when they were really strict earlier on in the movie that set up that juxtaposition. So this is just that that arc being implemented. And I think it's going to end up being like a pretty satisfying payoff. I also expect this to get resolved in a single season. I think the kids will be back on Aten by the finale. I think they're going to move fast through it. But honestly, I don't know. Like if the show is super successful, I could see them wanting to like renew it for multiple seasons and just have like turn it into a Voyager type thing where like they take 1,000,000 years to get back home.
You know what I was thinking? Remember that episode of it was in the second season of Star Wars Visions where that little kid goes with like the Sith at the end. Do we think that might happen at all with Wim going with Jude Law at the end? Maybe instead choosing a life of adventure and debauchery.
Ooh, and choosing not to go back to Aten.
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
Interesting. I feel like if they were going to go that route, they would not have. They would have shown us a harder version of the dad.
Yeah.
I think they made the dad a little too human for that, and so the audience is going to feel really bad for his character if Wim makes that decision. I feel like if Wim was going to make that choice, they'd make the dad like a real hard ass, so that we would side with Wim.
Not to mention the fact that the planet that they're leaving is supposed to be the treasure planet itself. So, like, of which Jude Law probably wants to find said treasure planet and get to. So I don't think his key directive is like, oh yeah, I'm going to need a new apprentice. I'm going to need a new first mate. Like, I think right now his key goal is like, I need money.
Right.
Like, who's going to get me money? Oh, these kids have an idea that I can swindle? That sounds promising. Let's go.
I mean, I think you're absolutely right. Got to go, but DM'd you a possible Hondo sighting too. Let me look at this real fast. At Port Borgo, episode 2, ZH-40 freighter in the back. It could. I saw that too, actually, dude. Yeah, it could be the Katuni at the very least. It's the same make and model. That is Hondo's ship flying in. Blurry ass Bigfoot picture here. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't make
Borgo. If Hondo was gonna make a live action debut, I can't think of a more appropriate place.
I thought Hondo had the flying saucer.
I thought he does have a flying saucer. Yes, that's like his ship during the Clone Wars. This is his personal vessel in this time period. It's named after one of his Padawans. Well, one of his Padawans. One of his marks.
That's right. Yeah.
One of his victims. One of the Padawans that was in Ahsoka's care in the Clone Wars. Yeah, shout out to Screecher's Reach, and I don't think we've actually talked about it. So we're not going to shift focus, but I will just briefly say, I'm so stoked for the next season of Star Wars Visions. It's finally been announced. It's officially happening. And I feel like we're going to get something good at Celebration Japan. So I'm really looking.
I was going to say a lot of them are all going to be Japanese animation studios. They're all going to be from off island. So it's going to be it's going to be collectively cool. I'm going to be curious if they're all going to be obviously they'll visually look different, but because they're all coming from the same place, I wonder if they'll all have a consistent theme or story arc to it, such as how season 2 had a lot more motherhood.
There was more of a cohesive theme throughout them all. I don't know if I like that or not. For strong my anthologies to be as loosely connected as possible, so I can get a wider variety.
It's true.
But at the same time, like a meditation on a single theme can be nice. But then you have to be in the mood for that theme for every single one of the shorts. That's the trade-off,
Right.
I really like the style of the short with the Potato Sisters. Which one
was the Potato Sisters?
I can't remember which one that was.
Oh, that was the one in the first season, I believe. And they were like, I don't want to describe it because I want to butcher it, but I know which one you're talking about, old Mr. Chris.
Oh, I think I know the one you're talking about too. Yeah, that one is really good.
That one. Exactly.
I really liked the one from season 2, the one from the animation studio in Chile. I can't remember what the name of that one was.
Oh.
It's really sad though. That was one of the really sad ones. There were a couple of really sad ones in season 2.
Yeah.
So there was also a great reference. I don't know if you guys caught it, to American Graffiti in the first episode. First of all, I love those little punks that show up on their speeders to talk crap to talk dank, if you will, at Fern and KB, calling them wastoids. I gotta use that.
Oh,
I gotta add that to my
Nice choice.
vocabulary. But the main kid that was talking smack, his name was Bonj Falfa, which is an objectively hilarious name. I'm naming my son Bonj Falfa as of this moment. But it's a reference to Harrison Ford's character in American Graffiti. It's Bob Falfa. So Bonj Falfa is like, so his character's alive and well in Star Wars now, and I kind of love that.
He was the Adam Driver at home. That's what I look like.
We have Adam Driver at home. Boom.
Right.
No one's ever expecting Bonj Falfa.
Right.
That's just an archetype now. Anyone with like long curly hair like that, wild hair is gonna. They're like, oh look, it's Ben Solo.
Right.
Everyone in the Star Wars universe now.
It's all Anakin's fault. The wavy, long, wavy, curly-ish hairs. Yeah, it's Anakin's fault.
In the Stars, Punk Robot Studio. Thank you, Droid Herder. Yes, easily one of my favorites. Jason, where did you send me your theory from? It's on Blue Sky, right? Let me grab it. You wanted me to read his theory about Aten and what's going on here, and it gets pretty wild. So let's do this.
Yeah, I was thinking about it at work earlier. I was like, because the way that the pirates were kind of describing it, but also kind of the way
I didn't catch that one.
The dad was describing what he does for work, but also the fact that there's like the CCTV security droid
everywhere, surveillance droids. Like everyone's being watched very closely too. And okay, so I rewatched that, and the reason they were walking around in the woods was because of the seismic activity was detected.
Oh, okay.
So they felt the quakes from the launch, and then droids were sent out to find out what that was. It's not like they just always have guards patrolling. That's how it kind of came across the first time. But the second time, I was listening to their back and forth chatter, and they're like, "Yeah, seismic activity was over here."
So I was also looking back at like how the town was set up and how it's like circularly kind of like we didn't get to see like the entirety of the neighborhoods, but the entirety of the city from what we were able to see literally has the same like archetype and the entire like theme. And it really reminded me of how a lot of nuclear towns are given the same look, or all the little city states that are built around nuclear facilities or power plants, how they're all generally built to look really pretty, really put together like a housing development sort of a thing,
and very very coordinated. Like it's not like
very coordinated,
sprawl where just sort of
but also very secretive, very closed off. So the planet, so like I'm curious if at Aten itself, because the pirates are like, oh, it could be, it's all full of treasure and jewels and like could be full of who knows what, but like it could just be just a fuel power, like it could just be some sort of I can't think of the word right now, but like just some off-world generation station sort of a thing.
Oh,
yeah, like maybe it's not like money. It could be like a resource.
It's a natural resource.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, see, I thought like at a resource, you could still exploit a resource, and like the pirates could still find a way to come back with a payday if it's a resource. It could be something even more frustrating and be like a concept. Like this is a world that's shielded from war, and that's a treasure worth $1 million, blah blah blah. And the pirates were like, "What is this pacifist shit? We wanted gold." Like, because the barrier, like the kids didn't even know what stars looked like.
Yeah,
they saw stars for the first time, so like I feel like it's a two-way separation. We know that there's rules in place. We know that no one's allowed to leave or enter,
which is weird. Which is super weird.
Very
but
intense.
Also, they didn't crash through anything. Like they kept talking about, like, oh, the barrier.
No, it's simply a force field, and there's rules about it. Like it's like a societally enforced thing rather than a physically enforced thing. I think maybe the barrier's point is to like obscure scanners, so that the planet won't be detected in like sensor sweeps and things like that. The teacher said the Republic, and she didn't say old or new Republic or the Empire. So I'm thinking maybe they don't even know what's going on in the rest of the galaxy. Like they have no idea about the Galactic Civil War. The adults in this show are old enough to have lived through it. So why has there not been any mention to it whatsoever?
Right. Did you notice there's only 2 adults and it was just the 2 parents? Everything else was a robot. Like we
That's
didn't see
true,
any
actually.
like grown-up humans, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah,
Right,
I think
the only
the
other
thing-
adults were aliens. We saw an Thorian walking a dog, and then Neil's parents. And I think that's like absolutely it.
Yeah, everything else is like security droids. But
Well, we saw the sub supervisor or
The undersecretary from the office of the supervisor.
right,
Yeah, she was
Fern's
the only
mom.
one
Who seems to control everything.
Huh.
The
She was
supervisor
the only
seems
other
to be like
human
the authority of the city.
Oh, and then we saw Fern's mom.
Fern's mom, that is
Yeah.
Fern's mom.
Oh, that was-
the
Yeah.
undersecretary.
Yeah.
Also, Fern, one of Fern's like compulsive liar stories, which are amazing, by the way. It's so funny that she's doing this. Like the look on her face when she's telling these stories is, like you were saying, such authentic kid behavior, you know?
Yeah.
It's
But
like
one
so
of the
obvious
stories
it's
was
fine.
about how it was, you know, the ship was like a failed planning housing development that like got filled with poison gas or whatever.
Yeah,
But she
it was
mentioned the
fuel.
department of something or something. So like there are people in charge of like building out and planning out these neighborhoods. Like everything that's happening there is by design. It's all working towards something. Like that's what the lady came to tell the kids about, was like the great work, and how will you fit into like the great work of. It's feeling like kind of it wants to be utopian, but I think there's something very dystopian going on under the surface of this planet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
It's possible.
authoritarian and weird and
I mean, it's possible that their super intense rules are the reason the empire never made its way there, you know, and that's why their society has been completely unimpacted by anything that happened out in the galaxy. It's totally, yeah,
Dude,
like
it's
M. Night
really-
Shyamalan's Village movie. That's totally kind of what I'm thinking. Like they're fully outside of galactic society to the point where like events don't affect them anymore.
And it's a myth. The planet itself is a myth because it was this little society that was started on as an experiment, and then just like no one ever heard of it again because it must have, I don't know, it exploded and like prospered.
Exactly. So strap in. Here is Jason's theory about the planet Aten. Okay, so we have these known facts. The planet of Aten has been a fabled, lost planet of treasure long enough to be a myth to the larger galaxy. The ship was buried long enough to have a lot of sediment and plant life atop it, including some very old, very large trees that were uprooted when it took off. Yeah, we're talking hundreds of years, like very large trees. SM-33, who was himself apparently a forerunner design of the K-series droids the Empire used, like K2SO, had information pegging Aldhani as a sulfurous bog planet, which doesn't track with the modern version of the planet we saw in Andor. I noticed that as well, and I had a darker interpretation of that. I thought that was them giving us an update to what happens to Aldhani after Andor pulled off the heist. The Empire turned it into a sulfurous bog planet by just destroying it. But this could be evidence in the other way that, like, well, when his knowledge of it, it's a primordial world, because that's how old his databank is. What we did see in Andor, outside of the mountainous highlands, is a valley with a river where the Empire has built a dam, possibly stemming what was there before, a marshy bog-like environment. So honestly, good evidence. Good evidence. We can surmise that the ship housing SM-33, I believe Lego leaks the name of the ship, the Onyx Cinder, was there longer than the 30-ish years it's been since the Empire would have built that dam. So it's probably not up-to-date information that SM-33 has, right?
Oh, it was Lego. Shout out to Lego.
Lego's always given us the info. That and German Burger King, inexplicably. Mint condition, yeah, if you know, you know. Mint condition Old Republic credits are at Aten's default currency and treated as such a matter of course that Wem's dad gives him a bunch of them just as lunch money. Like it's such a mundane thing in society. So in conclusion, it's probably at least from the High Republic, if not older. And since forming this theory, I've been told the creators gave an interview in which they referred to Aten as the jewel of the Old Republic or something like that. So I feel like my theory is more or less confirmed to this point. Dude, I think you're bang on about it being like removed from time and probably connected to like several galactic governments ago. And if not the High Republic, then the Old Republic is the next best bet. I would guess High Republic just because Disney's pushing their new era as much as they can. And so if we're going back in time, it's probably going to be a High Republic tie-in, just because any opportunity to create, like to cross-pollinate with those properties that they have, you know. But calling it the jewel of the Old Republic, like, that's pretty damn encouraging. Like I like what I'm hearing here.
That's a good name.
Yeah, it's wild that the kids don't know what stars are. They don't even know what any of the wars were fought about.
Yeah, that was
They're like,
kind
"What
of
wars?"
that was kind of interesting and funny, and yeah, that was very interesting.
Another point to your to Jason's theory. So Alex, Star Wars Explained translated all of the pages of the hollow board that Wim was reading.
Yeah, dude, shout out to Star Wars Explained. I was going to say something about that.
Great job doing that. He saved me the trouble because I was planning to do that and now I don't have to. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. But in the stories, there's a lot of Jedi and a lot of Jedi talk. None of it is recognizable to recent events. There's no talk about the Sith, about Vader, about the Galactic Empire. Luke Skywalker isn't talked about, and we know what a legendary figure he is. Like, there's kids talking about him 30 years from later, you know. But it's possible that his figurines don't resemble Luke or Vader at all. They're very much just like generic Jedi and Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that also points to High Republic or Old Republic
also.
to me. Yep.
Right.
We have yet to see like a full-on manufactured toy in Star Wars yet. Everything is very much been just like a handmade little doll or like wood carving.
Did you guys in the shot where the dad comes home from work right before he walks into the house and discovers Wim's missing and then goes looking for him in the first episode, did you guys peep the car that he was driving into the driveway? I didn't catch it until my second rewatch, but it's like the most rinky-dink little like Geo Metro ass like tiny little speeder that like you could tell that the concept design evolution was like draw a speeder, make it more suburban, make it lamer than that, find a way to make it dorky, like make it dorkier than that, like okay, and then like stick it on the road, like. Yeah, go back and watch and just like see the car that this man rolls up in. It's the funniest. It's so good.
Make what George Jetson drives, but broken down.
Well, it's like what's a speeder? Like you've got a hover car. It's automatically cool, right? Now you got to find a way to make it something that your kid would be mortified if you dropped him off in school.
Make it an Oldsmobile.
Totally, it's like a wood paneled Volvo or something like something super lame that a kid wouldn't want to be seen dead in. That's the kind of speeder that they created for him.
But dude, you know what's so funny about that,
shot, you know
what's so fucking funny about that though? It's like think about the DeLorean, right? From Back to the Future. You're right. Absolute fucking hunk of junk, like in any aspect of like looking at it, but still conceptually, like the DeLorean is still such a cool, awesome like design and like just put together like cinematic piece. Like it just everything.
It's iconic for sure. It's iconic for sure. Yeah, everyone who thinks that it's an objectively cool car design was not alive when it was first released because like choosing the DeLorean was a joke. Like they did that as a joke and it was iconic. So widely considered to be such a dumb car. Yeah. And then it becomes so iconic because of so like it's great. Like the generation after them were like, that's a cool ass car. But the generation when it came out were like lame.
What the hell is this? Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, no.
How do I take this through a car wash?
Like the DeLorean was picked for Back to the Future for the same reason that the Geo Metro was picked for Superbad. Like, got it. Because it fits the aesthetic and it tells you a lot about the character that drives that car. You know,
dude, Doc Brown. I mean, that's true.
Doc, he's absolutely a DeLorean driving crazy son of a bantha.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of pieces of crap. I mean, honestly, though, if you read the story of the guy who invented the DeLorean, it is a wild story. It's a wild story, and a lot of it explains why the cars are not very.
But dude, even like, speaking of pieces of crap, though, so it's like it does kind of it's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Even the other hover bike, dude, like it very much established that there are still financial hierarchies within like this planet and within this society. Like there's still theoretically the poorer people and then like the more off.
It seems like a socialist society to me in that you kind of have to take a role. Like they kind of have almost like a bursary system with that career placement exam. Yeah. And then like you have to take there's an aptitude test and then like your career is set for you kind of thing. And you have to go into this field. And because they have this department, like they have an actual government department building these housing units, Makes me think that like there's no homeless people. Everyone's placed in a domicile and given a job and given to this and to that, which is how like socialist societies roll. But I think it's very rigid, and I think there's a hierarchy, and I think that the supervisor is going to turn out to be a shady dude.
Dude, not to mention they said all security is done by droids.
It's all automated. Yeah.
Like that when the teacher, because like even the kid was like, I would like to do something that has to deal with helping people. And the robot was like, oh, well, that sounds like a security droid job. And it's like, bitch, what? You rusted bucket of bolts? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Oh, that was not included on the Blue Sky thread that I was on, but damn. Yeah, that's where it was. That's where it eventually was going. Is that at Aten, the great work is a secret weapons program, the rumor of which inspired the Death Star. That's where we get real wild with the theory.
But see, that wouldn't work either. That wouldn't work either, because if this is post Palpatine, like the only thing that this theoretically could be working towards, if it's that, pardon me, or if it's going that direction, would be like if this planet at Aten is something that has to deal, or is something that's going to work up towards Starkiller Base, because everything has to lead towards the Force Awakens, right? Everything has to lead up to the First Order and to Snoke. So, like,
not everything. If it's truly disconnected from the galaxy,
even at Aten could be like where they're keeping all the cloning information. Like, what if at Aten theoretically isn't like isn't like a treasure trove, but what if it's an informational treasure trove? Like, what if like all the libraries and all the databases are like on Aten or whatever, like all the the top secret stuff
from the archive memory.
Because Rogue One, think about what happened at Rogue One. They were like, oh well, clearly we can't keep all of our government things on one satellite dish on one desert planet.
There was one record of at Aten, and it got blown up by the rebels at Scarif.
Yeah,
interesting.
Okay, here you go. I found the second half of Jason's theory. So this is where it gets a little crazy. First, if you didn't play KOTOR religiously back in the day, you might not know who Bendak Starkiller was. He was a Mandalorian bounty hunter and pit fighter who was revered as a living legend in his day. You end up fighting him in a cage match in the original KOTOR game as part of a pit fighting side quest of sorts.
Oh, on
kind of legendary character who inspires legends long after they die. So why does that matter? Well, if at Aten was a closed society hidden during the time of the Old Republic, it might make sense for something that they were working on to have been named after an Old Republic legend, right? So maybe the planet was tasked with the great work, as it's referred to in the show, and that's some kind of weapon. Perhaps the project was taken off the books and hidden, and the planet has been a bit of a petri dish, like a petri dish Stanford experiment since then, right?
True.
Their tech is mostly stuck in wherever it was when the Old Republic took them off the books and put the barrier up. So the great work could be a weapon system powerful and dangerous enough to keep secret, right? But with the tech available to them, it could take centuries to complete. The weapon system named after a legendary Old Republic killer, why, that could go on to be Starkiller Base from The Force Awakens. Boom. So the weapon system has taken them generations to near completion, but the rumors for the plan on it remained even after the planet was hidden, like a legend rumbling around the back chambers of the Senate. So Palpatine would have heard about that, and that could have inspired the idea of the Death Star itself. I see how you're getting from point.
Okay. Also, like if we are going to humor that thought, because like at Aten, from what we saw, is very foresty, is very Canada, Toronto, like it's very just a conspiracy meme in real life,
right?
I love it.
Pepe Silva.
You mean with Charlie
totally, with like the string board
from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the red string?
Yeah.
But anyway, so if we are gonna humor that theory, though, I mean that would kind of make sense because Starkiller Base is a very foresty, it's snowy now. It's snowy in Force Awakens because by that time they had already ripped the planet apart, fucked with the core, turned it into a weapon, and then turned it into Starkiller Base at that point. But if we're looking at Aten now during Skeleton Crew time, it looks straight up like Toronto, Canada, looking very beautiful, looking very much like Alderaan, looking like Alderaan before it.
Are you saying Aten is Starkiller? Because we know that Elam is Starkiller Base.
Oh, there you go.
Elam is the one that becomes Starkiller Base. But I think what he's saying is that Aten's research could then be implemented to create Starkiller Base if it gets out to the galaxy. Because if this great work from centuries ago inspired Palpatine to come up with the Death Star, then similar rumors could also inspire some First Order guy to come up with Starkiller Base.
That's true.
Which would make it a really important planet during that second war between the New Republic and the First Order, too.
Sick.
That's a crazy theory, man. That is a crazy theory. If that turns out to be right, we've put it on record right here, and Jason gets all the kudos in the world. Like, your name will go down in legend if you were able to call this from deep, from like the 100-yard line. No, so I guess the last question really on here, the question that we're all left with is Jod Jedi or not? Or as Bendu had me specify, Force user or not?
I think he's a Force user, but I don't think he's a Jedi.
Okay, so you think he floated that key across the room with the Force?
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't have like a Kenobi moment, like where it's like a trick or something, but I think he might be a Force user. Oh, wait, is that what you think?
I think it's a trick. I think it's a trick.
But how?
I mean, space magnets, it's on a string. Like, I really don't know the how. You know, I don't know the how, but in Star Wars, they can always just invent a technology for it, you know? It could be a little repulsor lift trick thing.
Yeah, why did he wait to get the key to get out?
He wanted a reason.
Well, my theory on that is he waited. He waited because the kids have a ship, and he needed a ship to escape.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
But the other idea is that it's all like a sting operation kind of thing, and like the pirates put him in the cell to befriend the kids, and then escape with them to go back to Aten.
I don't know.
I think he got thrown in the brig in the first episode. Yeah,
I feel like they would have come up with it too quickly for that. That's the problem.
Yeah,
everyone seemed really angry when that vault was empty.
Right.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, I think he's a Force user. I think that maybe he's just like a pirate who can use the Force sometimes, and he like uses it to his advantage. Yeah.
Scoundrel's luck.
Okay, so we're saying he's a Force user, but not a Jedi. He's a Jedi. A Jedi.
I hate
out. Ted, I got your voucher.
Out.
That's me. I hate it. Out. Get out of here.
Get out. Out. A Force user. Okay, I could dig it. So if he's a Force using pirate, that makes him like a Cade Skywalker kind of guy. Like he would be closer in that vein, maybe like anti-hero, living life on the wild side, using the Force, clearly not for the ethical reasons all the time. Like if he was running with pirates in the first place, no matter what he does now, like that, he got there for a reason.
Yeah, so, maybe that's how he became the captain. You know, he's like swindling his way to the top.
He conned his way in, exactly, and now he's going to con his way back out with these kids, maybe.
Yeah, and then he's gonna like, you know, understand that he loves helping kids, and he's gonna go to the good guys, and then he's gonna live out the rest of his days with a white picket fence.
That's the dream. That's the dream. He'll become neighbors with Din Djarin on Navarro with his little prefabbed house.
Right.
We'll see. That didn't. I mean, there's always a first time, right? There's always a first time for that.
Stranger things have happened. Just saying.
Yeah, I think he's gonna flip. Like he's using the kids, obviously, but I think he's gonna grow attached to them or something. He's
he's gonna grow a conscience after spending time with the kiddos and decide that he has to renege on whatever deal he made with the pirates in order to save his life. You know.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah,
which would also sort of help the story be different from other piratey stories like Treasure Island. Because, like, if not necessarily saying that it's a redemption arc for Jod, but like if the goodness of the kids convinces Jod not to be an asshole for the rest of his life, like that's still like him. I think that's the kids redeeming him versus like doing stuff to like redeem himself, sort of a thing.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, unless he ends up doing some weird noble sacrifice at the end of the show, and like him and SM-33 end up blowing themselves up to like save the kids against like some massive pirate army or something. But
I would hate that.
See,
Maybe.
I hope not. I hope not. I know that the Swagman boxes did not include any jawed tissues, so
Right.
we should be safe.
Okay, so what if like they're gonna come across that big gold room with like that big gold skull, and then
With
like
a Wheatley skull, by the way.
they like lift up something like Indiana Jones style, and then the room starts collapsing, and then Jod has to make the decision. Like, do I save the kids or do I grab the gold?
Yeah, I totally see it going that way. They're gonna visually telegraph it like that too. Like, what do I choose? Which is honestly pretty Star Warsy. That's what Darth Vader did with on the Death Star. He's like, boss, son. All right, kill the boss. He made the right call.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a really good prediction. I think
what Saul had to do in the Acolyte as well. Which twin do I save?
Yeah,
that's true.
R.I.P. Master Soul.
Dude, yeah. Yeah. Oh, hashtag the Acolyte. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was rough.
Wow. Well,
So we have a Gonk of the Week to talk about here. This Gonk of the Week comes from Christopher Larson, and it was submitted in video form. We don't get a lot of Gonk videos of builds, a lot of images. So check this one out right here. Look at this guy.
Oh, look at those LEDs. Oh, and it's part of the patch.
You got the Clone Force 99 on the back there.
That's great. Those feet look awesome.
Yeah. No, he's real sturdy.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure we're talking 1/1 scale in size. Yeah, those feet are nice and shiny.
Really good. It's
I like the addition of these extra custom parts.
Gonks come in a bunch of different sizes, but like that definitely looks like, yeah, that definitely looks like at least like 3 feet tall, right?
Yeah,
3 or 4 feet.
I think skinny.
He does seem a little skinny. I think I'm sure it's like your standard like tubs from Home Depot. That's usually the base component.
Yeah.
I feel like I should know just like the canon dimensions of a Gonk droid off the top of my head, and I don't. So I'm a fake fan. I'm sorry. Please accept
You're the Gonk person.
I'm one of a leading council of Gonk people. There's
anytime I see anything with a Gonk, I immediately think of Kyle Katarn.
Yes.
I'm like, should I send this to him? And I'm like, he's probably already seen it. Like,
yes.
It's true. Every time anything Gonk related happens in new canon, I get like 25 direct messages.
Yeah.
And like tagged in a bunch of. It's great though. I love it. I love knowing that like I have this sense association with people now with Gonk droids.
Well, this
is a nice one.
The Gonk doesn't appear to be completely complete yet, so it is hard to kind of give it a clean.
That's true. Christopher did not specify whether this was a completed build or a work in progress.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we've got these decals on here means I don't think it's going to be painted any more than that. Because why would you put the decals on if you're going to paint it, you know?
Yeah, and it looks distressed, like on the edge.
Yeah, it's got a little carbon scoring. Seen a lot of action. Yeah, no, I'm inclined to give this particular Gonk a 12 out of 10.
12 Gonks.
Getting an extra point for the Clone Force 99 decal on the back there, because that's just delightful. Look at that. And the greebles are top notch too. He even got some that are unconventional that aren't in the usual placements, and you know, I appreciate someone going bold with it. Hey, look at these 3 cylinders in the front here. That's highly irregular, but I like it.
Also,
interestingly,
we only get to see 2 out of 4 sides of it. If this video was a little bit longer or gave us a little bit more information, I will give this 11 out of 10.
You know what? Bendu brings up a very good point. What are you hiding, Christopher? What's up with the back of the Gonk and the side of the Gonk that you can't show us? Like, okay, you know what?
And I feel like there's some
might
deduct
a point for being deceptive. I think I'm going to 11 out of 10.
There is no back of the Gonk.
There's just nothing
Okay, that's the same bullshit that people try to say with their Christmas trees. There's no back of the Christmas tree.
No. It's like Pigtone. When they find the door, you cut the
ornaments back there. Who's gonna look at the back of the tree? No one's gonna fucking look at the back of the tree.
If you look back there, it's literally just
Crystal
like
Kyber's gonna
unknowable
look at the
cosmic terror.
Period. I'm coming.
Like, yeah.
Back of Gonks hate to see me coming.
Okay, at my house, my mom would always put the tree in the corner of the room, and sometimes in school, because a bunch of siblings, we got a bunch of kids in the house. We all make ornaments in art classes over the years in school.
Yeah, you put the ugly ornaments in the back, but at least
exactly.
It's still...
We're not talented folks. Right. All right, as kids, I put some bullshit together and turned it in. When I was in like fourth grade, I'd hand my mom like some popsicle sticks glued to like a thing that just looks like trash. Yeah. And she'd be like, "Oh, thank you, sweetie." That goes in the back of the tree. Back of the tree. And it's fine. That's the way it is. And that's
because at least
the tree homemade gifts and homemade ornaments. Yeah. Why are they not showing us the Gonkadonk? They won't show us the back.
The Gonkadonk.
Well, see, flipped into the void. I think that's pretty much it. I think it's a Tigtone situation. You remember when he found that door that he couldn't find a way to open, and at the end he finally opens it, and there's just nothingness. It's just unknowable cosmic terror on the other side.
Yeah, right.
We're better off not knowing what's on the other side of that. That's all I'm saying.
Or the inside. Yeah, it's best not knowing what's the inside of the drone.
Never open the Gonk.
I think I want a Gonk droid that's 1/1 scale, but it opens up to be like a liquor cabinet. Or remember the icebox Gonk, the cooler Gonk we saw at the con? That was amazing.
Or like, remember when someone sent us the 4-legged Gonk cooler?
Yes,
that was.
I think I was on for that one.
That was the last time we had you.
Yeah.
You've been here for some pretty good Gonks. Wow. All right. Well, this Gonk is now mired in controversy because Bendu pointed out that we don't get to see the whole thing.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an ugly chapter in the Gonk of the week.
Crystal Kyber coming in with the lowest score. Damn. We went from 12 to 11 to 10 Gonks in a matter of
10 out of 10. Have we ever scored a Gonk this low before?
In a matter of 5 minutes.
Christopher Larson, if you're I'm so sorry, dude. I didn't know that it was going to go. I didn't know it was going to shake out this way. But to be fair, you didn't give us all the facts. All right.
You know what?
Give us all the facts. You didn't give us the facts.
The bravery. I appreciate the bravery that this person shows us his workbench or shows us their workbench with the glue gun clearly visible, or the drill clearly visible. Like, this person has nothing to hide of like, look at my workspace.
Yeah, he's laying bare everything for you. Yeah, but he won't show us the back of the Gonk. And so I'm thinking there's something highly problematic attached to this Gonk droid, and we just can't see it.
Yeah.
We have to play it safe. You know what? Get this thing off the screen. Let's go. This is a disaster.
Tough crowd. I don't know. Are we?
I like to think we're not a tough crowd. I like to think that I'm the highest goddamn judge.
Wow, Jason. After we listen to your theory, you're gonna come at us like that?
Right?
Rude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like
man.
Danny DeVito.
You just can't please some people.
It's like like Danny DeVito in that one Always Sunny episode of like pervervative, bullshit.
Ongo Zablogian. Allow me to destroy your collection.
Yeah.
I love that one. It's a Tatooine too. Oh man.
Holy shit. That's hard.
Oh man.
That's hard.
Tatooine. They have like squid people over there and like Tusken Raiders. Oh, that's rough. That's rough, man. You're ranking below the Jawas on that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh man, you know what? That'd be a good name for a one-man show, though.
The Tatooine 2.
I'm a Tatooine 2. Rough like a dog. Yeah.
That's Babe Fortuna's brother or cousin.
Dude,
Tatooine 2.
Beezer, man, yeah, Beezer's a Tatooine 2. He's like a Ryloth 4. That's what's rough. That's what's rough. Remember Cham Syndulla's homeboy, the blue guy, his next in line, who's like jacked like Prince Adam from Eternia, but he has the voice of like an 85-year-old man. Like, there's just something going on with Twi'leks. And like Rebels and Clone Wars was very unflattering to male Twi'leks for some reason. And by for some reason, I mean Bib Fortuna. And then Orn Free Ta, he's our other live action example, and he's like 3 Twi'leks wide.
Dude, but then also
He's so big, he looks like a different species.
Dude, but then going back to Book of Boba Fett, we also have like the one dude who is like, oh, I can't remember his name, who ended up like being in a relationship with the mechanic lady.
Oh my god, he was so funny, dude.
Yeah.
The dude who's like the
David Parkesi. I don't remember the character's name, but
he was the
they're both from Strangers with
notary.
So it's
The
so
notary
good that two of them got to meet back up.
So
He's
funny.
like, oh, I went to college. I know how to use fancy words. I can write your surrender for you. And
Dude,
Boba's like, bet. Boba Fett's like, bet. Fuck you.
Everyone was so like hung up
get
on the
some.
stupid speeders that no one was talking about how hilarious he was in the chase.
Yeah.
Like his
The
facial
slowest
expression,
car
like really
chase
stressfully
ever.
driving at like 5 miles an hour through a Mazda, was so funny. But all anyone would talk about is the stupid speeders being too clean, like blah blah blah. Like, nah, you're missing comedy gold. Comedy
Missing the
gold.
gold.
I really hope that he shows up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, because you know Boba's going to show up and Ming-Na Wen's going to be there. They better bring him along because he's too funny, man. He's too funny. Yeah, or the Chad Twi'lek from the bar who polishes your helmet. Like, basically, what we're learning from this is that there is a wide spectrum of hotness when it comes to Twi'leks,
It's true.
and it has highs, but it has lows.
Just like human.
It has.
Right.
I don't think humans get as ugly as Twi'leks do.
Oh, have you been to Walmart?
Okay.
Oh, what?
I choose to see the beauty in people, Bendu. All right.
I
I
mean,
choose to see the nice things
dead.
about a person.
I've
Sometimes
been to Walmart. I'm so
yeah, but does your nose
Come on.
hurt? Like, there's sometimes
people of
Yeah.
Walmart.com.
that was a whole thing.
Walmart.
That was a whole thing.
Yeah, remember that?
Yes, that's true. Westworld. What you mean Westworld?
I mean, okay,
Oh,
it's true.
no.
There are several original Cantina aliens that could go to Walmart and no one would even blink.
That's
No
true.
one would
Yeah.
notice. No
that
one would
2
notice.
a.m. crowd.
I mean, that's how Men in Black was.
I love that movie. I love that movie so much.
So good.
Yeah, no, like
They're
all
not
the
ugly.
Twi'lek women that show up on screen, they're always beautiful. They're always attractive. They're always very
It's true.
conventionally attractive. And then
Well,
Twi'lek men, it's like
well-
all over the place.
Well, there was okay. There was
Tell
that
me you're not
one-
about to start negging on Twi'lek females now too. Like, what is happening?
bro. There's that one time. There's that one
What is
time.
happening?
That one time. Mando
One
season
time at
2,
band camp.
It was the Bill Burr episode. It was when Nymphadora was the Twi'lek, and she fucking filed her teeth down so where she has sharp teeth.
Oh,
And you're
yeah.
like, dude, you look like a crystal meth girl. Like you.
You,
look
you,
like,
you know the
you look
filed
like
teeth.
someone who's
It's a
gonna
look.
steal my
It's
car
a-
radiator. Like I don't
it-
want to date you.
I
You look
think
like
that she
someone-
went another direction with it, and she decided to be more alien in her.
That's
She was like, I'm playing an alien. I'm gonna be more alien about it, and instead of just like a sexy colored like pink person with like with
True.
head tails, instead of it just being visual, she made it a physicality choice, and I respect that because like it
do.
made it a little different. But I think maybe she didn't check out a lot of Twi'leks before making that choice as an actor, because it doesn't really fit in with any of the other portrayals that we've seen.
Probably Athena, and she is a smoke show. She is as a human in her real form, but when she looks like
I'm
you
with
know.
Kenny on this one. I think she makes a hot Twi'lek too. I think the filed teeth, it's a thing, man. It's a thing.
Goth Twi'lek, I
It's a
mean,
thing.
okay. I mean, if you want Goth Twi'lek, I mean, we have Darth Talon, but at the same time, Darth Talon is very overly sexualized. Like a majority of female Twi'leks are very much overly sexualized, and again, kind
That's
of.
why I'm happy for characters like Harrison Dula. They get to be badasses and fully clothed
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah. Like
Or
fully.
Ayla Sakura. Well, I mean, Ayla Sakura again, like
No, Ayla Sakura is full
or
just
midriff
like
spelling. So it's like that's kind of hit and miss.
she walks the line there, I think.
She does.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, old Mr. Kid, she hisses. She's that girl in middle school. She's that girl from high school who like wears the Cookie Monster pajama bottoms and is just like, yeah, I'm too fierce. Like, no, dude, everything's like, Yeah, you know that person.
Clip that. That's going to become a new segment. That
A
rolls.
gift that's going to be a new Dork Force.
Oh my god!
That's why people are going to come watch this show. It's for that clip. Like,
Yeah, let her hiss.
let her hiss.
No, dude.
Let her hiss.
She's going to be Naruto running after later. Like, no. If she hisses, I can fix her. No. What do you mean?
What the fuck is this conversation?
What do you mean, chat? What do you mean? Chat. People in the chat, what do you mean? Y'all need to go touch some grass. Like,
You just don't get it, man. You don't get why the hiss is good. And that's fine. That's
the only person who should be hissing or if you have a snake body, like that one Jedi Master who looks like he smells like patchouli and swamp.
Yes. Orniconda Far, right?
The no, the one who has dreadlocks and like 6 fingers and the snake body.
Oh, right. Patchouli dude.
But I can't remember what his name is. But like, yeah, Sora Bolt kills him in the Dark Horse Clone Wars comics.
Oppo Rancisis.
Yeah, that dude.
Oppo Rancisis.
Yeah, you only get to hiss if you look like.
You love a sis with a hiss, unless it's Rancisis.
Hiss with a hiss. Wow. Chat
It's not Rancisis.
The chat be on it tonight. Wow.
The chat just wants the hissing Twi'lek. Is that so much to ask?
Right. Bendu's like, yeah, it is.
Well, also, dude, remember they implied that she had a past with Mando.
I know.
True.
The Mando hooked up with her and then he left the helmet on, and that she was pissed about it. Like that's the subtext.
Sorry.
That's true. But because he didn't want to look her in the eye. But like they were also.
Damn, dude, that's cold.
I know that was too mean. That was too.
Bendu's views do not reflect the views of the Dork Forces podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. This was
could you imagine like how that's very, that is a nicer way.
Edit that out, Kyle.
Leaving the socks on, man. Come on, you know that he was that way though. He's in the cult, and you like the children of the children of the Watch think that they're no longer Mandalorian if they take that thing off. Like they're doing.
What are we talking about?
See, old Master Chris gets it. He knows. He knows.
That's actually dialogue from the deleted scene that was cut in the episode.
Oh my gosh, right.
We're cut for time, not quality. Okay. Oh my goodness. So our final segment of the evening is a brand new segment that we decided we wanted to try out when we have a guest on. So Kyber, you're going to be our guinea pig for this segment.
All right.
It's going to be wildly unpredictable, and I really don't know how it's going to go. This segment is called "Is It Wizard?" I'm going to read off a series of things to you, and don't even think about it. Just tell me yes or no. Is it wizard? Okay. And I want your deepest, truest answers if you really think these things are wizard or not. And I'll let the questions speak for themselves. Okay. So, are you ready to play? Is it wizard?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Pod racing.
Wizard.
It's wizard.
Yes.
Diplomacy.
Not wizard.
Not wizard.
What?
Laser swords.
Wait, what?
Laser swords.
Wizard.
Wizard. Okay. Fiscal responsibility.
Not wizard.
Okay. Agree to disagree on that one. The Barbie movie.
Not wizard.
Not wizard.
What?
Bendu thinks the Barbie movie is wizard. Okay. I see we have some diverging opinions here, and that's healthy. That's
We're gonna battle. Bendu's gonna block me by the end of this.
Nah, not even.
Okay. Kyle Katarn.
Wizard.
Yes. Unchallenged. Advent calendars.
Not wizard.
Not wizard. Direct deposit.
Wizard.
Wizard. Yes, I'm with you on that one. And finally, the most important question of all: skeleton crew.
Oh, wizard.
So it's wizard. Seconded, signed, and co-signed right here. I'm having so much fun with Skeleton Crew. I can't wait for episode 3. The first 2 have been a total blast. It's nice to have Star Wars coming back out every week. Like we have this little built-in moment of escapism now that we all get to share in in our schedules, like across the world, we're all sitting down and watching Skeleton Crew, and that's fantastic. And I've had so much fun talking with you tonight about this. Like, you are one of our favorite guests to come on here. This has been a really fun chat.
Yeah,
So
I also
fun.
wanted, before we finished, I wanted to shout out that I appreciate your overalls and your blue eyeshadow. It's very much in the spirit of Neil.
Yes, exactly. You get it.
I dig it. And I see the humble, the low-key flex of the bandana, the Swagman bandana, rocking it. Very nice.
Gotta let everyone know.
Absolutely.
That none of my opinions are my own, and I'm just feeling like
it's the badge, the shill badge of honor.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun. I love hanging out with you guys. It's like we're hanging out and then people are just watching us hang out.
That's basically what there's not very much that's official about this podcast. We're just hanging out.
So fun. I love it. Chat, you're blessed.
Yeah, the chat was on one tonight in the best way. And
they were.
And so were you, Bendu. So were you.
I know, right?
Yeah. I was dying. This is so much fun.
You know what? This is Dark Forces 90. Folks, like, we had to go out with a bang. We had to have some fireworks, and I feel like we achieved that. So thank you all for watching so much. This has been the Dork Forces podcast. We recapped and dove into the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew in the double episode premiere. You can join Bendu and myself next week with our special guest Ronan to talk about episode 3 on Tuesday, because yes, we are moving the podcast date once again, because it wasn't confusing enough for people before. We felt like one more change would really shake things up and really help everybody out. So we will be going live at 8 PST on Tuesdays. That's 2 hours after the new episode drops. That way we are able to watch the new episode and then dive in and just kind of do a post analysis live with everybody every week. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be
I'm scared shitless about it. So like, I'm glad that one of us is very positive about the idea. I think it's
going to be good.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be really rough because it's going to be immediately after the episode on Tuesday evenings. So if you hadn't watched it, it will be excessively spoiler heavy.
It's true. It's true. Don't watch the podcast until you've had a chance to watch the episode for sure.
Because so this will also be like, I think, our first time experimenting with a post show analysis versus all of our podcasts were either the day before a Star Wars show was about to show.
We've mostly done anticipatory, like speculative
guessing. Yeah. Whereas this one's we're still gonna be kind of guessing because we're gonna see the episode and then we're gonna be kind of guessing what's gonna happen the next.
We'll definitely be speculating about what comes next, but my strength has always been analytical, and I would love to start actually dissecting and analyzing the offering that's given to us rather than like
immediately after it
happens. So I'm really looking forward to the discussion.
As a viewer, I actually love that. Like, as a viewer, I want to watch that episode and then go see what my friends think about it and like scream about it together. Exactly. So I'll see y'all in the chat. I'll be right there.
Like, experiment.
Doing it before the episode comes out has the same energy as like excited nerds waiting in line at the theater.
Yeah.
You know, like, what's about to happen when we get in there, guys? Like, it could be this, could be that. But doing it afterwards, it's like everyone chilling in the parking lot after the movie's let out, you know, recapping all our favorite moments and what they meant. So yeah, long story short, you can catch us next week at Tuesday, 8 PST after the episode has gone live. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you again, Crystal, for joining us. This has been so much fun. And thank you, everybody, for listening in. This has been the Dork Forces podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, may the Force be with you.